So I want to start by saying that you should not sell yourself short. So before you say, well, I'm not an expert on this, but, well, maybe consider that you just might be an expert, but it depends on a few things. I want to get something out of the way, and that is there is a difference between being certified or licensed as an expert and being an expert because you have much knowledge on something from either experience or a lot of study and a lot of reading. You can read through a whole library of medical information and even understand a lot of it and still not be certified or licensed to practice medicine. However, I refer you to the field of journalism, where a journalist is not really going to be certified on everything that they cover. Of course, it would help if they were. So, if you're talking a lot about law, it would certainly help if you were a lawyer that had a bar card, and so you're a member of the bar and you're actually able to practice law. But if you don't, well, if you're a journalist and you're covering a story and you're collecting facts and doing interviews, and so yeah, you could be listed as an expert if you do this long enough. At the same time, whether it's medical or law or whatever the subject might be, if you want to get something clear to people is that you're not a licensed or certified expert, that you need to seek out expertise in that area before you actually can say that this person knows what they're talking about. So if it's really important to your life, if it might put your life in danger and such things, seek out an actual certified or licensed expert, like on electricity, for example. You want a certified electrician. So, in an earlier part of my life, not too long ago really, I started delving into the whole idea of journalism and maybe becoming someone that gathers news and information. And so I wanted to know more, and I looked into it, and I found someone that called themselves an expert. And so what they said was sort of like this. They told me that you can consider yourself an expert if you read at least 14 books on the subject. So get that. Consider yourself an expert after reading more than 14 books on a given subject. And then you can call yourself an expert. Now, that definition, I mean, you can take it and use it, but I mean, you can reasonably expect that if a person actually read and understood what was said in at least 14 books, like on the law or on electricity, yes, maybe you could say this person has expert knowledge, but once again, they are not certified yet, and they have not gotten a license if they require one to do work. But in my opinion, for the purpose of doing journalism or doing content online, making and creating content and doing research in that regard, yes, I think that maybe you're safe to say that you're an expert if you have sort of a knowledge on the subject that is sufficient to say certain things about things, yeah. It's also very important to learn things about yourself, to learn how you sound whenever you listen back to yourself or you read your own work. And this is because even if you are an expert or think that you are, that you should really sound like one and you should learn the vocabulary of the subject that you're talking about. Now, of course, this should happen naturally if you really are an expert on a subject. So we are in the artificial intelligence um, sort of category of things. So yeah, if you just want to cut some corners, you could use AI and just be done with it. The only problem with that is it's really not saying that you are an expert because no, a person is not an expert if the artificial intelligence did all the work for them, and you have to rely on the possibility that did they get it right? Did the artificial intelligence get it right? Check them out. A lot of times they don't. It keeps proving out that artificial intelligence can't do a lot of math problems correctly, nor can they get spelling exactly right. according to what people say the correct spelling is. I'll just go there. It depends on whether you decide for yourself or for others that the dictionary is going to be a legal book that says, no, legally this word is spelled this way. But of course, you've got to remind people and yourself that a dictionary is a dictionary of usage. It is how people use the words. So it is not a legal definition. To go there, you would look up a lawyer's legal dictionary. The most recent case I can remember of AI getting it wrong for spelling is with the word strawberry. What is at issue is that if you ask an AI if strawberry, how many R's are in strawberry, if you either know the answer or look it up in a dictionary, it should be 3 R's. However, the AI says that there are only 2 R's, and I kind of get the idea that it's because of the sound, it's because of the phonetics of it. The 2 R's near the end of the word strawberry has an R sound. So you start out with strawberry, so there's 2 R sounds. So you'd say, yeah, if you're AI, yeah, there's 2 R sounds. Or if you're like me, whenever I do phonetics on things, I'm like, yeah, there's 2 times whenever you heard the word R. However, not the word R, but the sound R. Get that straight. So I need to point out the fact that if you are not relying on the written word and it's all audio, that the spelling doesn't matter that much, does it? So getting back on subject, well, the expertise that it takes to gather information, the main things to remember are to look up expertise elsewhere and to cite your sources so that whenever you do find a source, you need to cite that source and otherwise give a really good reason why you didn't. So if, for example, you're doing a news story and the person doesn't want to talk openly, well, there are times whenever you should actually say, okay, thank you for the tip, and move on and go to someone else that is willing to talk about this on the record. And oftentimes on political issues, you will find that people will talk to actors, which are experts at acting, whenever they are not really experts on like the law or on other things that actors are just not experts on. Also remember that if you consider yourself an expert on something, that you're going to bring some criticism from the outside world. So if you say something online and you consider yourself an expert, well, get ready, because the actual certified, some of them licensed experts are going to come in and say, now, wait a minute, I'm certified, I know what I'm talking about, and I think you might not be exactly correct. However, do not feel too badly about this, because those are learning opportunities. You can learn from actual experts that way, and so in doing so, you've made yourself even more expert on the subject. And please remember that you're always going to be considered an expert on yourself. So during the making of this one, I was also working on one regarding the whole subject of dopamine, and then halfway through it, I started to realize, wait a minute, I'm not an expert on this, and I really need to do more research before I just start saying a bunch of things about it that I don't know, probably a lot that I don't know. So at the point where that you're looking for an expert to learn more, you're not it. That's a pretty good indication you're not the expert. So if you've listened this far, thank you, and I'm going to say please give a like and also subscribe. Thank you. P.S. So after this, I will scroll to the top, and you will be able to see the text and think of it like the credits.